Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going way back to the late 70s, 1978 exactly, to go check out the old arcades, because there was one popular game that came out back then called Space Invaders, where you're going around and shooting the different invaders, and today we're going to be talking about a game that's based off of that. It's called Space Invaders Dice. This is from Turn 1 Gaming Supplies. This is for pre-order right now, and this is for 1 to 4 players, takes about 15 minutes to play. Let me show you how it's played, and I'll see you on the other side. In Space Invaders Dice, you're going to be rolling these different dice, getting cannons, shooting straight up, taking out different invaders depending on the color, and hopefully taking out UFOs for big points. How to play the game is simply listed at the bottom of your score sheet. In the first phase, we'll do some laser dice rolls. You'll take 2 laser dice, you'll roll them, you'll add it up, and you'll take one of these 2 dice of your choice and put it in the total. In this case, it adds up to 10. I'd take either of these 2 dice, and I would put it in the column of 10. I would then take this die, and with the last laser die, and we would roll those together. That is 8. We'd take one of these 2, and we would put it in column 8, and then we'd finally roll the last laser die again, and we would put it in that column. If it comes up with a column that already has a laser die, you'll just simply re-roll it to place it into an empty column. Now, starting with the second phase, we will attack the invaders by using the attack dice up here. You start with 8 dice, and how this works is you can use these dice to try to shoot the different colors invaders. Typically, you're going to be shooting from the bottom to the top. You have to get through the blue invaders first before you can get to the green, before you can get to the red, and before you can finally kill the UFO for lots of points, going from bottom to up in any column. So what you can do is activate these. Now, for instance, this one will allow us to remove one of the lasers. So we have these lasers, we can't shoot through them, but now we can remove one of those using this die. And since we removed it from this column, we can take this blue cannon and we can actually cross out one of these invaders, the bottom one there. This cannon here has both blue or green. I can use either one. Well, let's just shoot up past this one that's gone and destroy this blue one. Well, we have a green cannon here. We can now destroy this invader. And there's another green cannon. We can now destroy this invader. And we have a red cannon, so now we can destroy this red invader. Now, if I had another cannon of any color, I could destroy that UFO for lots of points. But right now, I have 2 X's that are nothing. Now, at this point, I can either be done and take 1 damage for each die that I leave there, or I can re-roll. Phase 3 is optional. I can re-roll these to try to get some dice that I can actually use, but you have to be careful because if you can't use them, you take double damage. Let's take a look. So let's say I re-rolled and I have a green cannon and an X. And because I re-rolled, I possibly will take double damage this turn, but I can first use this green cannon if I can. Now I've already taken out all the invaders in this column, so I can use any color cannon to destroy the UFO. I would then roll this UFO die and get between 50 and 300 points. In this case, let's say I rolled a 300. I would put the 300 score right there. Now the X I cannot use, so if I can't use this die or any other die that I have re-rolled, I will take double damage. Anytime you take damage, you put an X in one of the empty places around the score sheet. In this case, I took double damage, so I chose to put it in these 2. Typically, you take damage in any of the spots around the edge of the score sheet, and that acts as a timer for the game, because once that's filled, the game will end. The next phase is lose 1 red UFO. So any of the ones that aren't already crossed off, you must cross off the square, and you can never, from now on, either score this UFO by destroying it or by taking damage in that square. Then we move on to the column check phase, where we look for how many empty columns we have. This column here is empty by default to begin of the game, and any column where there's no invaders. The UFOs don't matter, but if you have 0 invaders left, that's an empty column. In this case, I have 2 empty columns, so we'll lose 1 die. So for every 2 columns, you lose 1 die. We start with 8, but now I'm going to lose 1, and so you'll have less die as you begin to destroy the invaders, and this is to simulate the invaders moving faster, just like the arcade game. And after that column check phase, you'd start back over with phase 1, where you'd start with the laser dice rolls, and you'd be able to continue going on like I showed you already. Now this will continue until either you have damage in all of the squares around the score pad, or until all the invaders are destroyed. At that point, you look at the points and start adding them up for all the invaders that you destroyed. Like here is 10 points. This one's also 10 points. These two are 20, this is a 30, and these are all face value. You'd add all those up, and you put it in the high score, and then you just play again and try to beat your best score. Now each copy of this game can be played with up to 4 people. It's pretty similar to the solo version, except you do not just lose one UFO in phase 4. In this case, if someone was able to go through all the way through and destroy a UFO, they would have gotten the points from the die like normal, but everybody else has to now cross off this UFO. They can no longer shoot it, and they can't take damage in that spot. The rest of the game gets played as normal, but if you survive, meaning you're able to kill all the invaders before you get your sheet filled up from the damage, then you get 100 bonus points. Now there's an advanced way to play a multiplayer game. It's called drafting. In this case, everyone gets their own score sheet, and the laser dice block the same column each round for all players' score sheets. The attack dice are rolled, and then starting with the first player, they will draft one die, and then the next player will draft, so on and so forth until all the dice are drafted. Then they will take those actions out and then decide whether to re-roll as normal. Once the entire round is over, you'd start over again with the next player being the active player, and you'd play through till all players survive or all players are defeated. If you survive, you receive 100 points, add them up, and see who wins. Space Invaders Dice is available for pre-order right now at t1supplies.com/pre-order. That's the letter T, the number 1, supplies.com/pre-order. There's 2 big benefits to pre-ordering. Number 1 is you'll get free shipping to the United States and discounted shipping elsewhere. Also, you'll get huge discounts if you're going to be buying in bulk. Now, there's only a very limited amount of games that's able to be pre-ordered, so pre-order yours today.